Can't stop. I got motion. I'm moving. I'm going. Can't lose focus. I got motion. I'm moving. I'm going.
Red Corner Boxing. We're in the game.
Yes, guys, and very good welcome to Red Corner Boxing. You were jamming Mr. Neutral as always, and we've got a very special guest. We have got JJ Solomon from the Spit Bucket podcast. Big up yourself, JJ. Thank you for tuning in with us, mate. It's an absolute pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you for having me. It's a blast every single time, man. So thank you guys.
God bless, mate. God bless. Just before we get into it, lads, just going to say we're proudly sponsored by EasyStories.com, your place to go for all your storage needs across the United Kingdom. Check them out. They handle your goods with care. And, of course, our apparel supplier, the Boxing Fight Zone. Check them out at boxingfightzone.com at your own leisure. Right then, we're going to start the review of this weekend, which was a fantastic weekend of boxing. As we all know, everyone's eyes and thoughts are going to be on the Night of Champions card from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. But there was one little fight before that on the Friday night in the UK, and that was Harlem Eubank against Josh Wagner. So let's have a quick chat on this one, Mr. Neutral. What did you make to Harlem coming off that cash rule defeat? He got back to winning ways. He done it in style. Two judges gave it 190. What were your thoughts? Is he ready for the IBF challenge against Lewis Crocker?
Well, first and foremost, big up JJ Solomon, Spit Bucket Broadcast. We're here collaborating again with the man himself and across the pond. And big up to all his supporters and followers. And give us a like and subscribe while you're at it, guys, please. And if you UK fans of ours, please give JJ Solomon and Spit Bucket Broadcast a love, share that love as well. Give them a like and subscribe. Jams, you asked a question about Friday night. Harlem Eubank, Josh Wagner. I felt if you looked at our review show, it went to the letter, as I said he would. No problems at all. He'll breeze through this. I don't see any problems. Josh Wagner, yeah, he's a good, strong boy, but at that level, and the form had worked out well. Carroll with that blitz performance against Ekowitz, and that just set the tone for me. That's how I thought Eubank was going to breeze through this and take it in consummate style. Big ups to him. And he does, with the form working out well, they both could do well.
Very well said, matey. Yeah, now, I wouldn't disagree.
Lewis Crocker, if it comes to that, Billy Nelson's looking for the the Conor Benn fight. He wants that big payday for Lewis, because I get this feeling. I love Billy. I've spoken to him many times. He's a great man. But I feel that he wants that big payday before losing that belt. If you understand what I mean. He wants the best possible result for his man. Because, yes, if Harlem Eubank gets a shot at it, or Jack Carroll, it's a big risk, isn't there? Due to the Paddy Donovan fight. I thought Paddy won that fight, where he got, unjustly. Well, it was justly, he was, disqualified. It was 10. It was one of them. But, he was dominant in that fight. And Lewis Crocker, the clash of heads with Paddy, it just completely, threw that fight into mishap, and Lewis come out winning. I don't know how it is. One of them bad nights for Paddy, but Lewis Crocker is the titleist. He's the one in the seat. He's the one that now can pick either between anyone in the IBF rankings or invite another man in. As I said, it's down to Billy to get him the best possible result, but if Conor Benn can't get a Barrios, or he can't get anyone else, a Haney or anything like that, expect him to go for a title. Although the IBF, he said he doesn't want that £11 or that £10 rehydration. I get it, because he'll have to take a big strip from 168 to 160 to 147, and then rehydrate on top of that. From straight after the Eubank fight, I wouldn't advise it. I'd go for another title or another big fight first, and then maybe unify with the IBF later on. JJ, what do you think?
No, it was, when I'm watching fights, I hate scoring fights 10-0. I really do. I hate scoring shutouts, but there really wasn't anything there. Maybe round 8, but no, he did exactly what he was supposed to do. And it's I'm always curious how you're going to bounce back from, the Catterall experience, not just being in the ring with a guy like Catterall, but everything that went on. You know, a lot of times the fighters will empty the tank or say that was my opportunity, or I felt I was getting better as the fight went on. I wish it wouldn't have ended. And we see it affect the next fight, or we see it affect the camp. You didn't see that with Eubank. It was a masterful performance. You see with those types of fights, when it's the boxer, the smart guy, the guy who can fight inside, the guy who has the IQ, you can tell really quick what's going to happen. And it was no surprise to me that round 10 looked damn near like round 1 when it was a masterful performance, and he put himself right there in position for Crocker. Now, I'm curious too what happens next with that IBF, because if I'm a champ on that side of the pond and I've got Ben there, I definitely want to chase as much as I possibly can to take advantage, capitalize on being a world champ and seeing if you can't set you and your family up for the future. So I'm curious what happens there with the IBF. I feel like Conor Benn being there kind of muddies the scene, and I don't mean that negatively. I just mean that that's a huge option for anybody now. If you're looking for money, if you're looking for eyeballs. So interesting to see what happens, but just taking it back to Friday night's fight, performance. Eubank obviously has the name, the legacy. It's cool to see him carving his own path, and I was 100% pleased with his performance.
Yeah, completely agree, mate, with every word you said there, and Mr. Neutrals. Literally, you both had it spot on. And the thing is, as well, though, who would bring the bigger money? You know, you got the Eubank name with Harlem. I know he's not Chris Eubank Jr. He's not his dad. You know, he's his uncle. You know, but he's still a Eubank. So you got a Eubank or a Ben to pick from at 147 for Crocker. Surely both of them are going to put eyes and money on the table. So either way, Crocker's looking pretty good right now. Him and Billy Nelson must be sitting there thinking,
Yep.
I'm in Richie Rich mode, mate. I'm getting a payday from one of these geezers, don't matter which one. And would he beat him? That's the question I'm going to ask you quickly before we move on to the Night of Champions. Would he beat him? Would Lewis Crocker beat Conor Benn or Harlem Eubank? Neutral.
I'll let JJ go first.
JJ.
So, you know, you talk about when Crocker became champion, and, you know, it has almost the same feel as Fundora Tim Tszyu to me, where that cut, you know, we all had our predictions, but we all know that something happened that fight, and it changed the future of the division now, because look at Tim. So, hey, Crocker's the champ. Will he be Conor Benn, I've picked against him twice, and or I picked against him once. I didn't know what to expect from Eubank the second time, but Conor Benn keeps improving. He's got tons of momentum now. He's got tons of confidence now. I think it would be hard for him to beat a Conor Benn. I think Eubank boxes masterfully. I don't know. I want to say no. I don't think he can beat Ben or Eubank, but hey, that's why we see the fights.
That's it, mate. That's it. Neutral, what do you think, mate?
I think he should be greedy and go for both of them. If I'm Billy Nelson, I'm lining up Harlem Eubank first, and then because of the Ryan Garcia situation with Barrios, Haney's just had a fight. Ben he's in a bit of no man's land. He has to wait for certain fights. This is one of them. And if Crocker takes a Harlem Eubank, that's a far more realistic fight to win for me than a Conor Benn. Conor Benn is proven strong. He's knocked down 160 pounder. He made weight. Whatever you think, he was drained or this, you know, he made the weight. He was a bona fide 160 pound fight. Conor Benn won it. He won it well. And if you take some of that form back down to 147, I don't think Lewis Crocker has got the tool bag to deal with the Conor Benn. However, if I'm Billy, I'm setting up the Harlem Eubank fight. Big name, as you said, rightly, Jams. He brings that. Let's get some revenge element for my cousin, for the fans and all the rest of it. It's a moneymaker, especially if they have it in the UK, which odds on guaranteed it's the only place they can't have it, never mind Riyadh. You know, and it would bring a certain amount of attraction. Lewis Crocker, for me, would win that. He would, because I think Eubank still makes Harlem Eubank still makes offensive mistakes and will get caught by a good, decent boxer like Lewis Crocker, who punished Paddy Donovan in the same way with that offensive manner. So for me, line up Harlem Eubank, win that, defend your belt. Then you've still got that Conor Benn who's high up the ranking. The IBF may well order it, or he'll just say, right, let's go straight for Conor Benn. And that is a massive money fight for Lewis
Yeah,
Crawford.
and the one thing we didn't mention as well, if he did fight Harlem, it could be on Channel 5 as well, terrestrial television in the UK, which always gives you minimum 2 million views. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's huge in itself. That's a big payday in itself. So that could margin the gap for between the two. So you go, like you said, Harlem first, then go to Conor. There's a couple of big paydays there for Lewis Crawford should he beat Harlem and move on to Conor Benn. But anyway, let's wrap that one up, guys, because we're all here for the same thing. We're here for the Night of the Champions. Let's get to it. We're going to start with Sam Noakes, who gave an absolutely warrior performance against the great young warrior in Abdullah Mason. I was so impressed with both men in this fight. I don't even want to hog the mic because I could go on about these two all night, man. I was so impressed with both. They gave it their all. They stood tall. It was absolutely beautiful to watch. Just doing the watch along, I was just obsessed with it. I literally couldn't stop watching. I kept forgetting to talk. And I never do that neutral, do I, brother?
No,
I
you
was
certainly don't.
just in awe of the warrior mentality of both men in there. They were two young guys giving it absolutely everything for the cause, for the world title, for the showpiece, for the stage, for Riyadh, for all the boxing fans around the world. I absolutely loved it. I can't say a bad word against either. I think it should have been a draw just to make it fair, mate. That's how good it was. What did you think, JJ?
Oh, I absolutely loved the fight, man. I had some concerns, and going into the fight Saturday morning, I sent a couple of my buddies some text messages saying I'm a little bit concerned. Of all my picks, is the one I was most concerned, not knowing what was about to happen to Brian Norman Jr. I was a little worried, and there were legitimate concerns. Listen, Abdullah Mason is a kid. He's still 21 years old. We saw what just happened a few fights ago when he did get touched and saw that adversity. We know that Noakes will apply pressure. We know that he packs a punch, and we know he wasn't going to let up. So I was concerned, but I picked a 10th or 11th round stoppage for Mason, and the fight played out essentially what I thought was going to be. Back an opponent for Mason that wasn't going to move, that wasn't going to get out of there, was going to throw the kitchen sink at him, and Mason was going to have to get through some adversity, and he did, man. He impressed. He showed ability to want to go in there and give a performance and a show to the fans as well, which is we don't see a lot from young American fighters these days. So check boxes for both across the board. Excellent performance. And I just have to reiterate, Abdullah Mason is only 21, guys. That grown man strength is a real thing. We're not even close to seeing it yet. But salute to Noakes. By no means was there a loser in this fight. Noakes knew the world was watching. I knew Noakes would come out and perform because the world was watching and what was at stake. Both gentlemen, they came out and they gave a show. They did themselves a favor. They did the boxing world a favor. And I know that there's going to be tons of opportunity for both gentlemen going forward.
Yeah, Noakes has already been approached by Turki Al-Sheikh. Turki Al-Sheikh's already offered him another fight on the card on Riyadh season. He was very impressed. Obviously, Mason, we know he's going on to big things now. He won that vacant title. He's looking an absolute superstar. I've got him on my wall right here. You can't see it, but I've got Mason, a painting here. One of my favourite artists on the wall.
Jams is a big fan. He's a big fan.
Mate, Mason's my guy. I took him round 5 TKO, but I was very, very proud of Noakes, how he hung tough. It was sensational. Both men gave their all. All you can do is salute a fight like that and just say congratulations to both men. The better man come out on the day.
100%, 100%. And then one takeaway from that, because we always hear when you're the challenger, you're going to put up your best effort. That champion is going to see the best version of you that there is, because you want what he wants. The cool thing about these fights for vacant belts, it's almost like you're seeing two challengers in there fighting a champion. Like, I want that. So it's that same mindset of being the challenger, being the underdog, your first opportunity at getting that gold, but it's at each other. And every now and then when we get these vacant titles, we see fireworks. And man, what a way to open up the championship portion of the card on Saturday.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And what I took away from that was, as you quite rightly said, two challenges going for the vacant belt. However, with two champion mentalities. Such was neither man wanted to give in. It was back and forth. You know, it was brilliant. You got the faster, quicker punching of Sam Noakes, who many didn't give a chance over the course of 12 rounds. Mr. Neutral did. I tipped him to win it. I was slightly out. Abdullah Mason come through with the power snappier punching combinations that were telling in the end to the judges. It was a great performance by both men. Quite rightly said, both done their nations proud, both fought like gladiators, and you got Turki Al-Sheikh was so impressed, he's already got Sam Noakes in mind, and Abdullah Mason, no doubt, for future events. Big up to Abdullah Mason, absolutely tremendous performance. And yes, you're quite right. He come up against man strength there, JJ, and he showed it himself. However, I've got reservations about his defense at 21. Sure. He has to work on that, because when he goes up that ladder, another step, which is a big step towards your Shakur Stevensons of this world, couple of other guys there. I don't want to, start throwing names in the hat.
You didn't want to mention Tank. Nobody does. Don't worry,
nobody,
mate.
nobody knows what he's doing right now.
Yeah,
nobody
we forgive
knows.
you.
What about Schofield? I know you're a huge fan of Schofield.
I'm a huge fan of Floyd, but I think him and Floyd now, Abdullah and Floyd are at the same level. I don't want to see them meeting next.
I agree.
These two are for the future, 23, 21. Give them a few more years to climb this ladder. But you know what, with these promotional companies, Top Rank, Golden Boy, they want to fast track them. They want the money out of these boys. They want to make them into cash cows and all the rest of it. It's the double-edged sword of boxing when it comes to, being a fan of boxers and how the promotion companies are moving them. However, lots and lots of good things to take from the lightweight division with both Abdullah Mason and Sam Noakes.
Yeah, would you also agree, though, that Abdullah Mason not getting dropped by Sam Noakes, who was a big puncher, and going the full rounds, winning that title, shows that Johan Vasquez fight wasn't anything to worry about. He showed he can take a smack off a good guy.
It showed that he can,
an undefeated lion.
It showed that he gets up and gets back on with the job.
A glasshouse fighter.
No,
I agree.
I don't think he's chinny. I don't think other boxers are chinny. They just walk onto shots to maybe
just a bit lackadaisical.
Fast knockdown, puts them on their ass, whatever, and they get up and get the job done. I've seen it 100 times before. It's
some
whether
of the greats get dropped.
You get some boxers, you get dropped and their heads go.
Mm-hmm.
So, it just goes to prove that Abdullah Mason's a dog. Sam Noakes is a dog, because some of those punches will have put a lot of lightweights away.
Yeah. And I listen, he's a 21-year-old champ, and I've been saying this for a while. I feel like we put these guys in championship status really soon, and it's dangerous. And in this case, what I mean by that is, just like we said, everybody now wants what Abdullah Mason has. Abdullah Mason is still a 21-year-old kid, and there's still some holes in his game. So they're going to have to figure out a way to fight the pressure, to resist the pressure, to throw him in there with the giant names already in fear of hearing, oh, he's ducking, because you have to be careful with this asset. He's a tremendous asset, a tremendous future, a tremendous potential superstar. But one wrong move as a 21-year-old kid, and that can come crashing down.
That's going to be even harder now, JJ, that he holds the WBO belt. He's got a strap now. People are now looking at him as the target. He's gone from a 21-year-old prospect who was looking at everyone going, yeah, I'm the young dog, I'm coming to get your ass. He's now the guy, the younger one, older ones who have not got it yet, are looking at the young ones saying, you got something I want now, I'm coming for you, bro. You know what I mean? And that's the situation now Abdullah Mason finds himself in, being 21 with a world title. And that sometimes can be a downfall for a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll have to see how he handles the pressure of being world champion. What his team do with him, how they maneuver him, who they're going to bring in next,
Was that the WBO, the IBF belt?
WBO, mate. There was no
Ah,
IBS
so
on the line at the weekend.
he-
It was all
he's
WBO, WBA, and WBC.
he's laughing then because the vacant WBO, they're exempt for 6 months from mandatory.
Yeah,
So
he can pick and
he
choose a
can
couple
have
of fights
a
first. He can
yeah.
pick and
So
choose a couple.
he's got that option to
Excellent point. Yeah, that's an
make
excellent point.
make it a voluntary defense of his choosing.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of time, mate. He's got a little bit of time, but he's still gonna have a target on his back. He's got to
100%.
make sure he stays
He's
staunch
got
now and
time.
just make sure he don't let his guard slip. Don't take it for granted. You know, he's a young lad. He's probably still going out of his mates partying at times. You know, you don't know what kind of life he's living at the moment. You know, 21,
Yeah, but I would
he's a young
imagine
buck.
I would imagine they'll his management and promoter will try to keep it within the WBO rankings.
Yep. And just to alleviate that concern, just from being here on this side of the world, there's 2 types of young champs out here. And I will tell you, Abdullah Mason is not in the category of you have to be concerned about what's going on behind the scenes. He's got good people around him. They've done an excellent job of that portion of it. His head is on tight. It's secure. He's one of those where if I write an asterisk, again, I want to see a defensive improvement. I want to see him work on that. But that portion of it, what's the 21-year-old kid doing when nobody's looking? I'm not worried about it from Abdullah Mason and his family. He comes from good people, and I can't wait to see what the future holds for him.
Beautiful, mate. That's good to hear, JJ. Thank you, mate. Like I say, he's one of my favourite boxers, man. I've been rocking with him since he popped up on the scene.
That's
Trust
good
me, I
stuff,
liked
man.
everything about him, mate. The excitement of his fights. He's got everything that I like in a boxer.
Yep.
You know, sometimes you need that bit of drama, even getting dropped. You know, it's nice to see. I went through
100%.
the era of Floyd never getting touched. And yeah, it's great to watch, but sometimes you want to see a guy get dropped and see what he's got when he gets up. You want to see that dog in him. You want to see him come back and say, "Who you knocking down?" Fucking like that, you know. You need to see that sometimes. You do, though, don't you? You need to see that sometimes.
It's so refreshing.
You
It's
really
so
do.
refreshing, especially.
Oh, you
on our side of
bastard.
the world.
You know what I'm saying, Neutral. You know what I'm saying.
I know.
You know what I'm saying. You
That's
need
what
it
I was
sometimes.
hoping from Brian Norman Jr.
Yeah,
to be
we're
fair.
all roads are leading to that here in a bit, man.
All roads are leading to that.
Absolutely. Well, let's move on to the next fight then,
Yeah.
guys. So next up, we had
Who have we
Jesse
got
Bam
next?
Rodriguez
Yes.
against Fernando Puma Martinez. This was picked
Wow.
for fight of the night. It didn't disappoint. It was a very good fight. It was for the WBA, WBC, and Ring Magazine and the WBO super flyweight titles. What were your first thoughts on this fight when it was made, just before you get into it? And then what did you think to the outcome? Was it as good as you expected, JJ?
It wasn't as competitive as I expected. Bam was as brilliant as I expected. I'm answering your questions backwards. When the fight first got announced,
Cool.
I was like, this fight is going to answer a lot of questions because there's still a lot of naysayers and doubters for Bam Rodriguez. He made it look so damn easy that I'm afraid he's still going to have the same doubters. These guys don't have the ability to, their comprehension skills aren't there. Like they're going to say, oh, this was just an easy fight. This was Puma Martinez. This was a champ, and he toyed with him the entire fight. So before anybody says Bam Rodriguez is just picking these old guys and stuff, dude, I was blown away. I picked that fight correctly, but I did not expect it to look like that.
I picked round 9, by the way. I'm just going to say I picked round 9. It was round 10 for the stoppage, so I was with you, mate.
Beautiful.
Well, here's the thing with Bam. I think you're being slightly harsh on Puma. The reason I say that, Gigi, is the fact that there's no one to beat Bam. That's quite clear now. Pound for pound, top 5. A lot of people I'm seeing on the timeline in the pound for pound rankings from the fights this weekend. Lots of these lists coming out, and what's a lot of them, Bam is into that top 5. Now, if we take that into account, and yes, what we saw there was a great start of Puma. Him and Bam were actually toe-to-toe for 4 rounds.
Some
And
people
it was
think he had a knockdown.
exciting.
Some people think he got the knockdown. Remember?
For
Bam
me,
did
it was
touch down with a glove. Some people
For
think that
me,
was
it
a
was
knockdown.
legitimate. I don't know what the referee was doing. Gloves went hit the floor.
What did
That's
it? I
that's
thought it
a
was more of
10-8
a, like
round.
a. I thought it was kind of a slip, but again, I didn't. When I heard the broadcasters kind
Saw
of
the
dismiss
punch.
it, I didn't drill it down. I didn't drill in and focus, so I could be
Yeah,
wrong.
it's
I
one
didn't.
of them. It's one of them. You have to go back and look at it. It was flash,
Mhm.
and it happened so fast. And he did. He connected with a punch, glove at the floor, point off.
Hmm.
Whatever you know.
Should have
But
been a
that
10-8.
should have
still
been.
would've
But
lost.
yeah, I was going to say that wouldn't have altered the end result because that inspired Bam. And what I've noticed about Bam is that chin of his is incredible. When Puma was lunging with these right crosses and left hooks and on landing on Bam, and Bam was just like, no, that's not
Mhm.
today. The god of death, not today. Okay, because I am going to beat you. And he imposed that well. The shots were coming in harder at round 6. And then on to the finish when he just overpowered a 34-year-old champion, unbeaten UD specialist.
Mm.
And the way he dismantled him deserved top 5 pound for pound in my eyes.
Agreed.
Absolutely.
Agreed.
JJ, what was your thoughts, mate? Like,
Oh,
do you think Bam is as good as people are saying? I genuinely do. I think he's one of the greatest that's ever done it this sort of way. I really do.
Sure. No, I think the guy is on. He's got a Hall of Fame career already, and he's just a baby boy. He's got
23.
the dude
23.
23. The way he stays focused, the way we don't see a lackluster performance. Man, you had just made a point, neutral, that I wanted to talk about, but it'll come back. The man just does what he wants to do. Oh no, you mentioned his chin, and I've always said, there's one of the qualities that separates those super elite. We call it their chin, but it's their vision. It's the punches that you don't see that will put you on your ass. And Bam has been hit with one of those. Anyway's been hit with one of those. It's not a testament on the chin. It was just a good shot that they didn't see. But his vision, his eyes stay open in the clinch. When something's coming his way, he sees it and he's able to brace for impact. And that's what it is. It's that vision, man. The guy, it checks off all of the boxes. And no, I've been heavy on Bam. It helps that I live 3 hours from where he fights. I've been heavy on Bam. I'm so happy the world is finally seeing it. But you can put him, you have your Inoue Usyk Bud debate. I don't have a problem where you put him in the top 5. You can't hold it against him that he's a little guy. But his activity, his opponents, how he beats his opponents, they're not close fights. His accolades and his belts already, I have zero issue with where you put him in the top 5, including the top 3, man. I think highly of the guy, and we've only seen the beginning.
Yeah, I completely agree, mate. I completely agree. And like you say, it's just ripped away Puma's WBA belt, and Puma was a very good champion. You know what I mean?
Yep.
People are now saying, "Oh, he's a bum, he's nobody." People are just chatting shit, mate. If they'd actually watched any boxing, they would know how good Puma Martinez is.
What's scarier still, he's 23. He can move up the bantamweight and go undisputed within 2 years.
Bam could dominate at many divisions for many years.
And then go up to super bantamweight.
Yeah.
If I don't think Inoue will be around by then.
I think he beat Inoue's brother, hands down, and he had a nice win against Fenshin. I think
maybe a Nakatani will.
Sure.
That sort of fight will be there. And the real legacy fights are looking ahead for him now.
Absolutely. Well, let's move on then, guys, because we've gone a little bit over what I was expecting. Sorry, JJ, we're keeping it a bit longer here, mate, on Red Corner Box, so we do apologise. Let's get to the big one of the night then. Well, the big one in most people's eyes. We've got Brian Norman Jr., Devin Haney. We know all 3 of us had Brian Norman to win. We all let some crow. We all let some humble pie. We got it wrong, but I'm going to have to say, salute Devin Haney, man. He showed up and he showed out. He dropped Norman. The nose damage was done, and he just took that fight from there. I was surprised. I really thought Brian Norman, even after being dropped, would get back into it, show his man strength, show that he was a bigger man, and do the job. But no, Haney just schooled him, mate. Let's be truthful.
Yes. It was an absolute shellacking.
Yeah, Mr. Neutral has to eat some humble pie, as you said there, Jams. I have been lauding Brian Norman Jr. for a long, long time. And yes, I've spoken to the lad and his father. And yes, I've made no secret of, my love of his work. However, his work didn't turn up on Saturday night. The first round, yeah, looked pretty good. He was making Haney, do a lot of movement, making him flinch, making him, think twice about punching. However, that all came crashing down with. And the one thing I will say about Devin Haney, clever strategy. Bill and Devin come into that fight with the most correct strategy. They had to hustle, outdog, huddle up, deny room, speed, quicker to the jab, quicker to the punch. You made Brian Norman look like an amateur there at times, as much as it pains me to tell it. However, the later rounds, as Haney was coasting, I thought, between rounds 5 and 8, he was allowing Brian Norman to come back into it. There's a couple of times that he did rock him. However, Haney done enough to see out the fight, maybe by 2 or 3 rounds. Yes, I even fell out with people over this fight on the timeline.
I did 117, 110, I did.
Yeah.
By the end.
It was it was disappointing. However, I think Brian Norman Jr. will come out of this fight a lot better than he went into it. More experience, and that was probably the difference between the two, was the experience at that level.
He should have took Barrios and not Haney. That's what he should have done. He'd still be world champion and could have grabbed another. You know what I mean?
Who knows? But it is what it is.
We all thought what was going to happen though. Like if I'm if I'm Brian Team Norman, and we saw what happened with Ryan, of course I'm going to take that before Barrios because I don't want to say nobody, but I just didn't see it. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Barrios fight wasn't on the table. The Barrios fight was never going to be on the table for Brian Norman Jr.
No, I agree with that. But I mean, I see why you say that. But
I'd have gone after him, though. Unifications over defenses, mate, just for a bit of bag. You know what I mean? But
trust me,
that's not how the game works, unfortunately.
I would imagine Team Norman already tried.
Yeah, I can imagine as well.
However, I'm not taking away anything from Devin Haney. He showed a champion's mentality against a new champion who had a couple of defenses. And maybe Brian Norman Jr. can be guilty of coming in a bit too cocky into the fight. And,
maybe the dad's rivalry took a little bit away from his mentality, do you reckon? Because they were getting a little bit into it, calling him a Charlie head and whatnot on the night,
Yeah,
a little bit of banter between them might have swayed his mind.
He should have known better. He should have known better not to listen to anybody, not to listen to media, even to praise of false praise, for another man's feelings. So what he should have done is been 100% focused. I did not see 100% focused boxer in Brian Norman Jr. Over to you, Gigi.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said, man. A couple of things to stand out. You mentioned Devin Haney's great game plan. Bill and Devin had a tremendous game plan, and it shouldn't come as a surprise. One of my favorite Devin Haney moments in his career was his fight against Lomachenko. Everything good? I saw neutral. Am I coming in okay?
Yeah, you're good, mate. You're good.
Gotcha. His fight with Lomachenko, how he implemented that body attack, and whether you think Loma won or Devin won, that's not what I'm here to argue. What I'm trying to say is there was a concise, strategic attack on Lomachenko's body that I had never seen from Devin, and he displayed it masterfully. So the reason I bring that up is the Haney's have an ability to come up with a game plan, and not only come up with a game plan, but stick to it. That's hard to stick to it. Then let's take it to Brian Norman Jr. Overconfidence has to be in conversation. You cannot look past. I don't care what you think. We had Brian Norman Sr. on the show, and his answer, I know sometimes it's mind games or whatever, but his answer looked exactly to me what the problem was. He said, I see this as being very easy. Whichever Devin Haney shows up, it's going to be easy. If he wants to exchange, it's going to be easy. If he wants to run, it's going to be easy. And damn it, it looks like those guys were completely caught blindsided, starting with the power. The power, like Brian Norman Jr. showed some life late in the fight, but I believe that knockdown in that second round was felt not only by Norman Jr., but also by Norman Sr. I think it shook their world up. Norman was hurt for a bit, but it completely hijacked any game plan. They were stunned. Senior was stunned in the corner, didn't know what the hell to say. Brian didn't know what to do in the ring, and it took him about 6 rounds to start figuring it out. And then you start seeing life, signs of life, that maybe had that Brian Norman showed up earlier, I'm not saying he'd have won, but maybe we'd have seen a moment. Everything when Devin landed that left hook and then he landed and then he dropped him, I think everything went out the window, and it comes down to experience, preparation. There was no plan B, and just all of this I'm saying about Brian Norman, I need to be sure to give Devin Haney every bit of the credit he deserved. I thought when I picked Brian, I just thought Devin's chin was out. I saw Devin Haney doing this mentally, and I saw Brian Norman doing this mentally in the last 2 years. All the picks for Devin Haney, I could see if this was 2023, but things have happened since then, and those things made me feel so damn confident that Brian Norman was going to come out with his hand raised. But look, that's why we watch the sport, and now we have one of the best redemption stories in boxing that we've seen in years. And hey, the division is wide open now. But no, I'll eat all the crow you want me to eat. Nom 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 nom.
I'm with you, mate. We have to do the same, JJ. We have to do the same, mate. We have to do the same.
To do Devin justice, we need to see Ryan beat Barrios, and then a unification for the WBA and the WBC and WBO belt between Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia, and Devin Haney winning it. That's your redemption story.
I like that, but I don't want to see Ryan Garcia become world champion because he don't fucking deserve it. Let's be truthful. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it.
I know, but
I'd like the rematch without the championship belt on the line.
Without
Ryan
the belt,
ain't no champion. He's a fraud.
Without the belt,
he's a fraud.
Without the belt, then that fight is years and years down the line.
Yeah, well, I'd rather not see it then, to be quite honest. I'd rather
Haney fans are not having that.
What about Haney against Boots at 154? Or Boots go back down to 147?
I'm not being funny.
Like
I'm not being funny. Haney gets destroyed by Boots.
I was going to see
destroyed.
I agree, but I'd like to see it.
No, Haney, mate, Jan.
Norman, man. I want
Haney is going nowhere near.
I'm only joking.
You're mad, you. No.
And if that doesn't work, let's do Canelo or Terrence Crawford.
He's got Roland.
Let's bring Klitschko's back.
He's got Rolando Romero.
Down.
He's got Rolando Romero, Lewis Crocker, and who's the other one?
No, it was actually Breadman who mentioned that online earlier. Breadman who said about Boots Haney. That's why I mentioned that. Breadman mentioned it about 154. Haney go up 154 and fight Boots.
Boots won't meet 147 again.
No, I agree, man.
Got about Haney going up, but yeah, I said the same. I said Haney's at 147, only just fought his first fight there.
Nah, Haney will cap it at 147. I mean, the 154 guys, I'll kill him.
Just give me a conversation starter. That was all, lads. Anyway, let's move on to the last fight of the night so we can let JJ get back to what he's doing. I'm sure he's got better things to do than sit here talking to us all night.
I'm having a blast, but I do want to say, having a good time. I want to say something because Jam, I mean, salute to you, dude, because, dude, boxing's putting us in a shitty position because I don't want to see Ryan Garcia be champion either. You know, like it goes against everything I believe, everything I look right into this damn camera and say about, oh, we need to honor the sport and respect the fighters and respect this and integrity and this and that. And Ryan spit all over that. And yeah, you deserve second chances and all that. You just lost a title fight. So now you get another title fight. Like, I'm with you, Jam.
That's not Ryan's fault. That's sanctioning bodies.
I totally
That's,
see it. For sure. But I tell you
that's-
what, Ryan's Twitter account was Ryan's fault. Ryan,
Yeah,
the
all
things
the
he-
racist behaviour, all
absolutely.
the hate, all the
But as-
spewing
as
that he
for-
done,
as
and
for
then he
title
lost to Rolly.
fights-
That should have been the end of him. We shouldn't see him again.
how
As
do you
for
know
title
he's being
fights, that's the
banned?
sanctioning bodies and the
Sure.
promoters.
Sure. And
They
that's what I'm saying.
promote this guy.
We have to
Yeah,
cover
but
these fights, right? We have a responsibility to cover these fights. And I see the lure of what a rematch would look like, but that forces us to say, oh, yeah, forget about all of that toxic shit that is
All the
not.
hate.
Yeah, it's crazy to me the position they're putting us in. How does the WBC go from banning the guy to giving him a free pass to a title? So that's a conversation.
WBC,
Yeah,
the
I
most
get
corrupt sanctioning
Maurizio
body
Suleiman.
next to the WBA, and
Y'all
they
remember-
both helped. They both helped PBC. They both helped Golden Boy or any North American boxer, and WBO. They're getting just as bad for Puerto Rican
Okay.
boxers with these WBO global belts and all the rest of it. They're just gateway belts to the main belts. I'm not. That's for another episode. But these sanctioning bodies are as guilty
Mhm.
as the boxers themselves. How does the WBC go from Ryan Garcia's bringing this sport into disrepute, banning him, suspending him, and then welcoming him with opening arms and love because he said sorry,
It's
and then
horseshit,
get
man.
Sorry
rewarding him
sometimes
with
ain't
a,
good enough. Sorry sometimes
rewarding
ain't
him
good
with a
enough, is it?
title shot.
That's
Like,
it,
it's
brother.
a sanctioning bodies. These corrupt sanctioning bodies in North America and Central America, from Colombia to Panama, corrupt.
Those same people that threw Julio Cesar Chavez in there with Costa Zoo saying he was the #1 contender and almost killed him. Let's not forget about that, man. Like it's just money driven, and whatever they say about safety and integrity, horse shit. Horse shit.
Oh my ass. 41 boxers went to die since 2003.
Yeah.
If that was the
Agreed.
case.
Oh, that's the point as well. Let me just mention Motorosian died, didn't he? Bless him. I just want to say God bless to his
Oh,
family and
yeah.
friends while we're on live.
Rest in
Bless
peace,
him.
brother.
2-year battle
R.I.P.,
with
man.
cancer, skin cancer. God bless Martirosian, man. He was a good lad. I remember watching his fights. Always gave the action, didn't he? So
100%.
Yeah.
God bless to him and salute to his family and friends and fans around the world. Right,
Condolences to all.
should we get into the last fight of the night then, lads? We
Yeah,
got David
it's the-
Benavidez, the Mexican monster, against Mr. Anthony Yard. We all know how this went. It was pretty brutal. It was pretty one-sided. I actually predicted it as well, but Mr. Neutral talked me out of it, and I went for the UD on the prediction league.
Oh no.
He taught me
You're
out
a
of the knockout. He said,
master of
"Benavidez
your
ain't knocked
own
no one
mind,
out
sir.
175, 116.
Don't
He
ever
ain't
let
done
your
shit."
mind be infected
He
by another
corrupted my
man's
mind.
opinion.
I know, mate. It's my own fault. It's my bad, brother. It's my bad. It's my bad. But yeah, I changed mine to UD, and it ended up a stoppage in round 6. Round 7. What did you make to the fight? Anthony Yard didn't seem to have much left. Is there anywhere else for him to go, to be honest?
Go neutral or JJ?
I'll go
JJ.
JJ first.
All right, yeah. As far as Yard, I mean, you know, you hate to call a guy a gatekeeper, whatever the case. You know, gatekeepers are important in boxing, so it's not shitting on you. But you get to a point where the people around you are just too damn much, man. And Yard has had his moments. He's had his moments with Better Bevan. And listen, what he did this weekend was important for the sport. So, you know, you might feel like if you're supporting Yard, you might feel like, oh, we took one on a chin, but big picture, the sport needed that fight to continue to move that division along. And boy, did it. David Benavidez, I said this on my post-fight reaction, which I intentionally did it right after the fight because I knew the bigger channels would be on and I didn't want to get too much hell for the Devin Haney pick. But anyway,
I was in the chat, bro. I know.
Very
I tried
strategic.
to phone in.
Oh yeah. So I will 9 times out of 10 pick the conventional fighter, the guy with the fundamentals, the guy with the way it's supposed to look. David Benavidez continues to shut me up. I'm not saying I picked against him, but there's nothing conventional about him. his style, his balance, the way he walks in the ring and crosses his feet. Hey, but you know who wasn't conventional either was Roy Jones Jr. And sometimes you just have to say, look, this guy has his toolbox and he knows how to masterfully use what he's given. And guys, I don't know who stops that man. He gets stronger as the fight goes on, more confident. He's willing to get there and square up with you. His combination punches are like nothing I've seen, especially at this weight. I'm blown away by David Benavidez. And he's turned everything I think about picking boxing and predictions upside down because the man is a Mexican monster, I guess. I guess.
That's it, mate. That's it. Well, he's actually a very good boxer, mate, David Benavidez. I only started I was never sold on him. You know, when all that Canelo debate was about, I was always team Canelo.
Me too.
I didn't want to see it. I didn't think he was that great. And then I watched the Morrell fight and I kind of fell for him a little bit. And I started thinking, actually, man, this guy's all right, you know. I was talked out of it by a few people who I won't name, but I did like him. And I watched this fight the weekend, and he showed his class. Apart from the holding behind the head and punching 15 times, that's a bit naughty.
I forgot about that.
That's a little bit naughty for me, you know what I mean? But we'll allow it, you know. In Britain, we do something dirty as well. It's all good. But he's going on to fight Zerdo on May the 2nd at £200. If he beats Zerdo, would you put him in with Jaya Pataya? How would you see that going, JJ? Just a quick one on that.
Yeah, thanks.
Right.
And I'll make it quick. I know I just put Benavidez on this massive pedestal. I think Benavidez I think Benavidez looks tremendous against Cejudo. I don't think Cejudo is going to be prepared for what's coming. You can't prepare for that. But Opataya, that's a different conversation, man.
Eats him alive, bro.
Yes.
Eats him alive. I guarantee you now, I would literally eat this hat live on stage, mate. He will knock him out within 8.
I'll do the same damn thing. Because here's the thing, dude. I just said Benavidez has all these. He's not a conventional boxer. A fighter like Opataya, but the problem with David is his size, his speed, all of that. He can make up for it. You know that it kind of offsets it. Somebody like Opataya will find those holes. Somebody who it's just as hard, if not harder. Somebody who can take these shots. A fight with Opataya. Again, David continues to prove me wrong, but a fight with Opataya, I don't think that team wants anything to do with it. If he takes it, salute to him. It'll sell. It will be intriguing. But my very early pick would be Opataya remains king of that division.
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. I think, honestly, Opataya stops anyone at cruiserweight. He's the most avoided man in boxing right now. He really is. People are running from the Tasman fighter. They are absolutely terrified of him. Zerdo has took 2 fights and not one of them with the king of the division. He's fighting Robin Safar in January, and then he's fighting Benavidez, a guy coming up 25 pounds, the biggest jump in world boxing. The guy's running for his life. Everyone's running from Opataya.
I think everyone's being far too previous. Let's get it right.
But work it all out, mate. It all comes around. They're all avoiding Opataya at some point. Everywhere
I've seen on the timeline, GG, all I've seen, washed up, never should have been in there. Terrible about anti-yard in there with David Benavidez. And GG, you said it best. He's a messy looking fighter. The most unorthodox, orthodox, flat-footed, walk you down style, belligerent style that he's got. Mate, Bivol would be like Nijinsky, popping shots at him like a murder squad. Benavidez couldn't survive that kind of fight. We've already seen it with Beterbiev has tried it with Bivol. It didn't work. What was prevalent to me about the Yard fight, Yardy was doing too much running away. If he'd have stood and went toe-to-toe with David and stopped him from cornering him off in the corner or against the ropes where he was doing a lot of work, that would have stopped a lot of that because he was failing to engage. And Jams, you remember through the watch-along saying, just go toe-to-toe with him. And when he did in the 9th...
in the corner.
Yeah, and when he did in the later round, towards the end, he was starting to have success, but David was too much on a good run. He was too hyped up by then. Beterbiev and Bivol murdered David Benavidez. Opataya murders David Benavidez. I think people are sleeping on Zurdo, who's been the distance with what do you call him, Bevel, and
Yeah, I
Bevel had
don't
a
rate
dance
Herder
with
that high
him.
myself.
Zuddo's 6'3". He's bigger than David Benavidez. He's got a longer reach than David Benavidez. He's got a far better jab than David Benavidez. And I think that would be a great fight. But David Benavidez is stuck in 175 because the agreement with the WBA, should he win or lose against Zuddo, he goes back to
To fight
175.
Bivol.
Big mistake, because once David Benavidez hits 200 pounds, there's no going back to 175. Forget it. Drop your belt. Bye-bye.
Yeah, that's what he
Excellent
should
point.
do. Absolutely.
That's
Excellent
what
point.
he's going to do. There's no other route after the route. It's been set by the WBA and by PBC. He's going to Zotto. And by the way, Zotto's got to get past Robin Safar. He's not going to be an easy task himself
Yep.
for that. So that's going to be 2 hard fights in a matter of 6 months. So it's going to be fun. But David Benavidez, once he goes up to cruiserweight, he will never strip back down to 175. Forget it.
And neutral, I have to. So this newfound whatever I just did with David Benavidez, whatever you want to call that, promoting hype, whatever. It's new, man. I'm having to adjust. I pride myself in evolving and understanding where I may have been wrong. With that said, what you said about Bivol, like Bivol is a class fighter. He is a class boxer. And I feel, even though I just said all this about Benavidez, I haven't processed or anything a potential Bivol fight. If it came down, gun to my head, who are you picking? My heart and everything I've known about boxing is going to pick Bivol. I just know it. But damn it, Benavidez keeps showing me that style can work. Now, again, let's see it against a Bivol. Let's see it against his. I don't think Pseudo is going to do much, but that's a mindset thing. We'll talk later down the road. But no, you're absolutely right. Bivol should use how he boxes, and that should beat a fighter like Benavidez. But damn it, I just won't be surprised if Benavidez again makes me look foolish.
They said that about Canelo with that walk down belligerent style. They said the same about Beterbiev, 2 fights, walked him down.
Mm-hmm.
And Bevel was taking the hardest puncher at 175. He was taking them shots. He wasn't put down. He was, I think, rocked once in 24 rounds. For me, the second fight was a master class. He'd worked out Beterbiev's forward coming style, which David Benavidez is no different. No different. In fact, he's worse than Beterbiev, because Beterbiev is a master at cutting the ring off. And he dealt with Beterbiev. He'll deal with David Benavidez. Not by knockout, but easy UD.
He'll beat him on points. Points. I agree, mate. I agree. But do you think we're going to get Beterbiev Bivol 3 in the meantime?
We have to now.
Why Benavidez is off fighting?
Yes, I believe
you
now.
think we're going to get them settled first and then get that?
Yeah, now that David Benavidez is off to cruiserweight, we will get Beterbiev, because that sort of clears the table for negotiations now.
One belt, Benavidez comes back down and fights the winner.
Yeah, but as I said, Benavidez will never come back 175 to fight either one of them 2 cats.
That's what
not
the rule's
gonna
meant
happen.
to be, though, isn't it? He's meant
That's
to come
what
back
the
down and fight the
agreement
winner.
is, but it's not legally binding. And David Benavidez can drop that belt at 175 whenever he pleases.
Neutral, you're just saying it's going to be a desire. Like, you don't think he's going to want to make that trip back down to 175
this is a pound for pound thing with David Benavidez. Champion at 160, champion at 168, champion at 175. Think about it. He wants to go 185, become a 4-weight world champion. That's the aim. Maybe then go into Bridgerweight and get an easy belt there. Rival the Canelos, rival the Terence
Can
Crawfords.
we be truthful here, lads? He knows he's not good enough to stay in the same division and win multiple belts, so he's going to win one at each and run.
Yes, he's a jumper.
That's what's happening.
He'll use this whatever sanctioning body to jump from division to division.
Yeah, he's never going to clean up each division like
like
the real goats do. He's just he's scatterbelting, mate. He's grabbing one, running, and he'll run out of steam at some point. And
he's good, but he's not Beterbiev level. He's not Bevel level. He's not Upper Thai level. maybe he'll get another belt. He might be Zotto, and he might be someone at Bridgerweight, but he's going to be 225 pounds at that time, so he's just going to be a blob.
I agree, mate.
I
agree.
appreciate you guys because y'all allowed me to put on my normal glasses back on.
Come on.
And actually see what I should be seeing. You're calming down the Benavidez thing for me, and I needed it because I'm just like, damn it, how does he keep doing this? Y'all are absolutely right.
But it was anti-yard.
Yeah, the Benavidez
washed up,
sure.
Who's never won at the world level. He's had 3 chances. He's been beaten convincingly at those 3 chances. Are the Brits guilty of overhyping anti-yard? Maybe. But for me, he's shown enough dog in him, that, as Jam said, taking 18 punches with a left hand and letting it happen. Oh, yeah, that's great. Oh, referee, you're going to see that? No. But he still went on. He still fought on. Sure. And eventually, the combinations were too much. The corner should have had him out of there a long time ago.
I agree.
At least 3 rounds before, and saved him. As for Anti-Yardy, should he continue boxing? Look, he's 34 years of age. If he feels there's another fight in him, so be it. But go up and wait, because he didn't look good at 175 there at his age. He's another one that could be, suffering from the older I get, the more heavy I have to be. I think cruiserweight will probably serve him better. It's a far easier division than 175, but not at the top level, obviously, with Opetaya and Zotto. I can't see him beating either of them. But he could get something like an international belt, a global belt, anything of that to, and he's still a big enough name in the UK that he'll attract a few thousand followers.
I'll put a friendly wager on the Cejudo fight. I'll put a friendly wager on a Cejudo fight, but I think that's where his roadblock is. That's about where it ends there, but we'll see how that plays out.
Lyndon Arthur versus Anthony Yard, 4 incoming, says Hawkan. Thanks, Hawkan, mate. Always good to have you on board, brother. Always adds a bit of spice to the conversation. You know what I mean? No, it's all good, man. To be honest, no one's watching that. Let's be honest. Lyndon Arthur's a very good fighter, but, he's lost twice. He won once. We don't really need to see a 4th on that. Anthony Yard, for me, to be fair, he's made his money. He's popular in Britain. Yes, he looks the part, but he's never really fulfilled that potential. He's lost all 3 major world title attempts. Yep. He's lost to the 3 main guys. I think he should just say, look, I conned the public. I had a good body. I was quite handsome. I made a good few million. I conned the public.
I conned the public, he says.
I'm off. I'm taking me bag. It's full of millions of your cash. I'll see you later. That's what I say about Anthony Yard, mate, unfortunately.
He can only... Don't forget, Turkey Al Sheikh phoned him up and said, look, David Benavidez wants to fight you. Is he going to say no?
Oh, no, I don't blame him for taking it, man. Like I say, the bags of cash, mate, I'll be taking them all.
So he's took a hiding. Right.
I'll let David Benavidez punch me 15 times while I hold him in for 1.6 million.
So
I've got no problems with that, man, brother.
So he's took a
phone. I'll let you and JJ join in as well,
Exactly.
You can all on me, mate, for 1.6 million. I've got no problems with that.
He's took a phone call. He's took the money. He's took a hiding. So what? Move on. He's 34. It's not like he's going to break down.
It's just,
that's the end of me. No,
I don't see where he goes. I just don't see where he goes.
It doesn't matter. His name brings him an event, a co-main, something like that. He'll be a testing ground for somebody else.
Yeah, do you not agree he's had the weirdest career though? Sacking Frank Warren,
but there's many ways.
Levels. It's been very strange.
There's many ways of making a living in boxing. You don't have to always be a champion. There's many ways of making a living. It's all about making a living.
Like I said, and very important roles. Like if you want, if Anthony Yard wants to continue, he needs to set proper expectations, right? Don't feel like a loser if you're not a champion at the end of the year. Be a sportsman.
We saw Lyndon Arthur. he got washed by Anthony Yard, and people are saying he's done. And look what he done, come back in his last fight, and he's European champion. He's now got another stepping stone to try again.
He also
who's
beat
to
Anthony
say-
Yard and handed him his first defeat.
Exactly, but who's to say that Anthony Yard can't do the same? It's with any
never know,
boxer
you never
anywhere
know.
in the world.
You never know, brother. You never know.
Who are we to say when a boxer's finished? It's
There's
up to
always
them.
That's
Jake
it.
Paul.
That's it. He's
There's
still
always Jake
relatively
Paul.
young. He just seems like he's only up for the big fights. But then this one, he didn't even seem up for that. To be honest, that's all I'm thinking.
No, is everyone going to be a Benavidez? That's the thing. I don't think so.
I don't know. Was Beterbiev and Kovalev harder than Benavidez? He done better in them two fights.
No,
than
I
this
mean
one.
moving forward. I mean he's not going to get Beterbiev or anything like that fight
Oh
again.
no, not now. No.
No.
And I think if he moved up and had a couple of prover fights at cruiserweight, he could well work himself up to get a British title, then get a European title, and who
Or
knows what
maybe a
can happen.
Prague for a European or something, a vacant title or something like that.
You
might
never know,
happen.
mate.
Never
You never
know,
know.
mate.
You never
there
know.
was-
You never know. Well, let's wrap
but-
this up, guys.
yeah.
We're bang on the hour, so that's perfect timing
On
to
you
say
go.
goodbye. Thank you so much to the Spit Bucket podcast for joining us.
Yes,
It's a
sir.
collaboration show. So we're going to
There
be
he
dropping
is.
it on Spit Bucket as well. Mr. Neutral, you know how it goes, my brother. This is what we do. We chat the boxing. We love this shit. We live for this shit. Hopefully we see Benavidez versus Beterbiev next, says 99 Maddox. Thank you, 99 Maddox, mate. Let's hope we do see that. I very much
It's a
doubt
wish
it, though.
list.
Anyway, yeah, I didn't see Christmas wish list, mate. They're big Benavidez fans as well. They actually go to his gym. That's Sampan Chance. They
Oh,
go to
yes,
his gym.
that's
They watch
right.
him
Big
train
up
and stuff.
Sampan
Yeah.
Chance. Obviously, they're delighted for David Benavidez, and so they should be being so close to the camp and all that. Obviously, we're well gel over here of that, and you know the fact that you're on the winning team. However, next time, don't be so sure. Until
you never know, mate. You
then,
never know.
my
Right,
last
let's wrap
word
this up.
is
Thanks again, JJ. God bless you, my
Yeah.
brother.
thank you,
Thank you.
GG.
Y'all have a
Protect
great
yourself
one.
at all times.
Likewise,
Mr.
fellas. Y'all
Neutral,
have a
see you
great one,
soon,
guys.
pal.
Take
God bless
care.
y'all.
Later.